What's up, boys and girls? It's your boy GM with Yukihime chapter 168. This chapter was so much needed for both Yukihime and Touta. They really needed that talk. We wanted to see it, and it happened. And I gotta say, pretty much, well, the important stuff was said. What had needed to happen, it happened. So before I jump into this review, let me just tell you that I have opened a Patreon page for my manga project called Heart of Wildfire. The link is somewhere around the screen or just in the description. If you can support it in any way you can share it with your friends, subscribe to it, and also with just a minimum of $1 per month, you guys can help me make this 20-year-old dream come true. So guys, any given help is more than welcome. So thank you in advance. So apparently Shishijuro can actually split his body into male and female. So that's what he did to trick Touta and Yukihime to be alone in the bubble aquarium, and it worked. At first, it was pretty awkward with a lot of shenanigans, the usual shenanigans as always. But while doing their shenanigans, Touta tells her that seeing her smile makes him really happy, and I think this is one of those moments when Yukihime is just plain vulnerable. But at the same time, I do believe that when that happens, she can be herself, especially next to Touta, considering their history. With that said, among the most important things to say in this chapter, she starts by apologizing to Touta. She apologized about the fact that she took part into his creation for to defeat Yalda Bahut. Like she is sorry for the fact that he regarded Touta as a weapon, nothing more, nothing less. And we know that this is not true, because we know that there's a great part in Yukihime that really loves and cares Touta. But Touta replies by rubbing her head and saying, "Hey, it's okay, don't worry about it, because I wanted to jump into the fight. I wanted to do this." And Yukihime replies that, well, it sort of felt like I pushed you, but Touta was like, "I would have done that anyway, so don't worry about it." And he adds that it's not you to worry that much. And again, this is another vulnerable moment, because he's right. It's not very Yukihime like to worry about those type of things. And considering what happened in the previous chapter about Kirie telling Yukihime that the plan is working well, so there's not much time before the real battle start, the final battle. So you have got to patch things up with Touta once and for all and make things clear before it's too late. And now we see in this chapter that Yukihime must deal with those hidden emotions, everything that has to be told before it's too late. And we see that happening. We see Yukihime having a rough time expressing herself. Another key moment of this chapter was when Touta asked Yukihime if she remembered him, and not just from a few years back, from the first time when they met back in time in Dana's palace. And Touta was starting to recalling some moment about calling her kitty, remembering her at actual 16 years old. And we saw Yukihime blocking his mouth and denying the fact that they have met. Well, not denying the fact, but more like saying that, no, I don't remember. She's saying that, but of course we know from that moment that her behavior, her actions spoke louder than words. We know that it was bullshit. But of course, Touta had to say something meaningless like, "Sorry, but I have a clear view of your small boobs." Of course, Yukihime decide to flee the scene, and because she is really embarrassed about what's going on, about that talk that she must have with Touta, which is pretty understanding. And while she's around town and she is exploring, uh, she is having a lot of deja vu moment, and we see in this chapter there's a lot of that. There's a trip through memory lane where she is remembering Negi, the class of 3A, where she, for the first time in her long immortal life since meeting Touta, how to open up, how to laugh, how to enjoy life, even though you are an immortal. Right now, when Touta runs after her, she feels again uneasy because she looks like a teenager. I remember she said that she looked like a teenager in love, and if she can't have the courage to talk to Touta in this current form, she has no right to laugh about the class of 3A. Because remember, back in the Nigima series, every girl in this class had feelings for Negi, and they all had the guts to confess their feelings towards him. So for Yukihime, aka Kitty, Evangelion, you name it, she had to face Touta and confront him in any way possible. So of course she decided to transform into her adult form, and and decided to confront Touta and invited him to a date, which was pretty romantic from the start of the date towards the end of the chapter. But I'm gonna get to that very soon. So yeah, they decide to go together and go on a date, spend the day together. And I gotta say, this was much needed for these two to have this time alone, not just for the talk to be made, but for them to have this special moment, just being free of anything from this the threat of Yada Bahod, from evil magic users, demons, whatsoever. Just them having a good moment together. I think that these two, more than anybody else in the entire series, needed that. We saw Kirie, Kurumaru, and Karin spying on them. To be honest, I was really laughing hard when I saw Kurumaru nose bleeding about seeing Touta in his adult form, and that was so funny. Like you saw the perverted side of Kurumaru. But overall, I was a bit afraid of seeing those three spying on Touta and Yukihime, because I thought that their date would end up being sabotaged by these three, and we wouldn't have gotten to where we need to be. But it turns out that they did not interfere. So their presence in that chapter was just pure comedy relief, and they didn't interfere with what needed to be done between Yukihime and Touta. So I was glad that it was done like that. While being on the date, we saw Yukihime laughing hard about the fact that her entire class of 3A had statues to commemorate their heroic deeds, and she is cracking up because she remembers those girls as being such idiots, and they were. If you've read the Nigima series, these girls were really idiotic, but in a very good way and funny as well. So for them, for Yukihime actually, these girls are so priceless because they were the reason why, along with Negi, they were the reason why she was able to smile during those moments. She was able to be more opened up, and so for her to laughing so hard at those statues, it wasn't to insult them. Far from that, it was just to remember those wonderful memories that she had with those joyful and colorful characters. Right before dinner, Touta asked Yukihime if she was happy, if she is happy, and she didn't get that right away. Actually, she did, but she just pretended that she didn't hear that. Touta was like, "Well, never mind, don't worry about it." So when they go to dinner, and Yukihime is like, so what is it about if I was happy? And Touta, I think that this is one of those parts where Touta has been so serious. Like we've seen him in his serious moments throughout the series, but this one was so meaningful. It had a lot of impact. He was telling he was saying to Yukihime that, when I first met you, you told me that the world was a hell. I mean, seeing her past and everything. So yeah, Tota was worried about that because he saw Yukihime's past. He realized that she lived through hell, from her words, and she did. And Tota was like asking, even though you said you lived through hell, this is the first time that I noticed that you smile quite a lot. So I was asking, so you are happy? And Yukihime's answer for me was priceless. She just says that I was able to laugh because of my class at 3A. These girls were idiots, but they made me smile so much, along with Negi, and that's why life was so enjoyable. That answer for me was so it was so profound, to be honest, so genuine at the same time, and pure. It was just a beautiful, pure answer. This part, I believe, near the end, when Tota, he was like uneasy, and this is when I started reading that I was surprised. He was just standing up from his chair, was like, "Oh, that's good. That's really good. That's really good." And he couldn't look at Yukihime straight in the eyes, and he was like, "Okay, you know what? Thank you for the dinner. I gotta go." He just started running away, and Kurumaru noticed that he was crying, and just a little something that I forgot to mention. When Tota saw how hellish Yukihime's past was, he vowed to become stronger to save the world, so that Yukihime could be a little bit happier. And somehow, in a funny way, Yukihime realized that is that why you wanted me to marry you? And of course, a lot of people made fun of him about that. So yeah, going back, Tota started running away. When Yukihime finally catches up to him, Tota having this moment, being so vulnerable. It doesn't happen a lot, but when it happens, it's really deep, really, really deep. Tota feels completely useless, like his existence never mattered to Yukihime. He mentions that he wanted to save her so much, while in reality she was already happy. And I think that in this moment he started to question his own actions, like did his life even mattered in the first place? And he mentions the fact in the alternate timeline how Yukihime was so happy that he never existed there. He wasn't needed, and he is really destroying himself. All the things that he's saying, it really reaches him because everything that he did up until now, it was for Yukihime's sake, to make her happy. To even though if the world was a little bit hellish, he just wanted Yukihime to be happy. Like this is gonna be his goal until the end of the series. He just wants to make this woman, the woman he loves above all. He just wants to make her happy. Being faced with that fact that he was pretty much useless because she was already happy, and that Yukihime may not need him about all that, it really hurts him. But I love how Yukihime came to the rescue emotionally. There is nobody on earth that can give hope in one's heart like Yukihime towards Touta. Like Touta could have bad days and all that, but he can come back up from it. But if Yukihime tells him something negative, he's gonna take that thing to the grave. But if Yukihime tells him something incredibly positive and even romantic at some point, that's gonna he's gonna have enough power to lift the entire earth, no matter what. Like that is how Touta works. I really love how Yukihime uh, cheers him up. She blocks his eyes and say, "Don't open your eyes until I say so." And she reverts to her 16-year-old form, not just any 16-year-old form. The way she was dressed when they first met, at least no, not the first time they met, but when in a distant past when she met Touta in Dana's palace, and I quote, I'm gonna say those words perfectly. She said to him, "You mean a lot to me. I remember you. You were my first love." That moment was just blossomingly romantic and beautiful. Like this is one of the end of this chapter alone is one of the most high noted moment in the entire series from my point of view. And I quote, and I'm just gonna keep quoting Yukihime on that what she said next. "Your words kept me going for 200 years. You were my first love, and now you're one of my most reliable soldiers. You're like a hopeless younger brother, and my precious boy." On those last words, you gotta understand, like she really had mixed feelings about Touta because she fell in love with him, and several centuries later, she is holding him as a newborn baby that she helped bring to the world. So it's kind of, I mean, in her mindset, she must have been like, "Wait, I fall in love with you? What the fuck?" It was really confusing for her. It is still confusing for Yukihime to decide how to love Touta. But it is one thing is for sure, she loves that guy. Like she cares a lot about him. And this chapter, this moment alone was able to show that to us in a beautiful way. Seriously, this was such a passionate moment. And I love how Yukihime kisses him on the cheek and then kisses him on the lips. And she just tells him what needed to be to be said. "I need you, Touta. And I'm able to smile because of you, my friends from the past, and the ones that I have right now. Period." You know, that is all that needed to be said. That last kiss that she gave him. Beautiful. This moment alone is the perfect definition of why this shipping between Yukihime and Touta is not over. And I don't think it will ever be over because in some way these two have strong feelings for each other. And look, it was such a beautiful moment. Like the last few pages were just mind blowing. From my perspective, what needed to be said was said. "I'm sorry, I treated you like a weapon. It's okay, no worries. Do you remember me? Yes, I remember you. You kept me going all these years. You were my first love, and I need you." And yeah, everything that needed to be said was said. Also, are you happy? Yes, I am, because you are there in my life. So look, I don't know your point of view about this, but look, this chapter was beautiful, especially the last pages. What are your thoughts about it? Comment, rate, subscribe, share this video, much appreciated. And seriously, I hope you enjoyed that chapter. So guys, I'll see you guys in the next chapter. In the meantime, please do me a favor for your homeboy, take care of yourselves. See ya.